welcome to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Kate Ribibis reporting from Brussels, Belgium. We bring you news reports from the United Kingdom and Europe. We have live reporters on standby ready to give their reports. For our headlines. Evacuees from Kabul touch down in UAE on way to Britain. European nations rush evacuations from Afghanistan. And joined with us, we have Ashley Espirito. Hi, Ashley. What do you have for us today?
Hello, Kate. Thank you for having me today. Today, I will be reporting on Britain's plans on the event that happened in Afghanistan. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson warned Wednesday the Taliban must be judged on its actions rather than by its words. Back to you.
And in the UK, we have also Iglesia, Cristo Church of Christ in Manchester, United Kingdom, holds Neighbourhood Appreciation Day. Germany to end free COVID-19 public testing. And we get a quick tour in the Uldelnaya flea market in St. Petersburg, Russia. And we are also taken in Interlaken, Switzerland on a one fine day. And joined with us, we have also Ryan Florentino. Hi, Ryan. What do you have for us today?
For sports, we have golf with the US's Nelly Korda making a flying start to the Women's British Open in Scotland. Back to you, Kate.
And to end our program, we have our view from our window. And it is taking place in Strasbourg, France. In the UK, Britain's operation to evacuate its nationals and protected individuals stepped up on Thursday, with planes landing in Dubai before passengers traveled onto the UK. At Dubai's Al Maktoum Airport, a Royal Air Force transport plane carrying evacuees from Afghanistan took off around 10:40 GMT with another batch of UK-bound passengers due in from Kabul. Shortly afterwards, an AFP correspondent reported. Dozens of people, many with large rucksacks, waited at one of the airport's departure gates ahead of boarding what they hoped will be a flight to safety. British embassy staff and airport employees in bright yellow vests stood at the gate giving instructions to the waiting group. Back in Kabul, thousands of Afghans packed between Taliban checkpoints and a ring of steel around the country's main airport, desperate to get aboard any flight out following the return of the Taliban. But the government has faced questions over where the evacuees will be taken when they land in Britain. London has said that evacuations will continue as long as the United States continues to undertake its own evacuation operations at Kabul airport. The United Arab Emirates has become a hub for evacuations from Afghanistan, with French authorities using its capital, Abu Dhabi, as a stepping stone to transfer its nationals back to France. In Europe, following the return to the power of the Taliban in Afghanistan, European countries rushed to evacuate their citizens as well as Afghans who worked with them out of the country. On Wednesday, the Netherlands was able to evacuate its first nationals. 35 people were able to board a plane that headed for the Georgian capital, Tbilisi. On the same day, the French army was able to bring 25 French nationals and 184 Afghans in need of protection to Paris. The flight included many women and children, as well as Dutch, Irish, and Kenyan nationals. It has been reported that most people who sought refuge in the French embassy in Kabul are now out of the country. On Wednesday, also, Germany was able to bring around 500 people out of the country, and among the evacuees were 202 Afghans. A plane also arrived in Rome on Wednesday carrying 86 people. Denmark has evacuated 84 people, while Switzerland and Ireland, as of Wednesday, were still working to evacuate remaining nationals out of the country. The situation on the ground remains a struggle and requires extreme efforts from evacuation troops. Time for a break. ENI UK and Europe edition will be back.
The Bundesliga will start up again. It would be great if we had full stands and to sing our battle songs. Oh, and more goals wouldn't hurt either. A surprise would be great too. The Bundesliga highlights. Kickoff.
In good shape. Do's and don'ts that will help you stay fit for the rest of your life. We answer the question, what do our bodies really need?
In good shape.
Welcome back to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Kate Rebibis. Interesting stories from around the UK this week. To give us the UK's position on the situation in Afghanistan, we are joined today by Ashley Espirito. Hello, Ashley.
Hello, Kate. Thank you. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson warned Wednesday the Taliban must be judged on its actions rather than by its words. And he revealed Britain had helped more than 2,000 Afghans to flee the country in recent days. Addressing MPs recalled from holiday for an emergency debate, Johnson also defended his government's handling of the crisis, insisting Britain could have stayed in Afghanistan without US support. After conversations this week with other Western leaders, including US President Joe Biden, he said they had agreed that it would be a mistake for any country to recognize any new regime in Kabul prematurely or bilaterally. Britain has so far secured the safe return of 306 British nationals and 2,052 Afghan nationals as part of its resettlement program, while 2,000 more Afghan applications were complete and many more were being processed, Johnson added. Johnson told a packed House of Commons UK officials are working around the clock to keep the exit door open in most difficult circumstances and actively seeking those we believe are eligible but as yet unregistered. Britain announced late Tuesday a resettlement scheme for Afghans fleeing the Taliban after their return to power, offering an initial 5,000 places in the first year, with plans to welcome 20,000 in the long term. Priority will be given to those most at risk, including Afghan women, children, and others forced to flee or facing threats and prosecution from the Taliban, offering them a chance to remain in Britain indefinitely. Let's listen in to a British veteran who served in Afghanistan.
The people who are there, who are living through these conditions. As I said, I've had personal experience of working alongside Afghan soldiers and interpreters, and I just hope that they and their families are safe at the moment. And I can only hope that the impact that we all made cumulatively in our service in Afghanistan has bought that country time that has meant the education of two generations, and those generations now realise that there is an alternative. There is a different way of being governed, and I really strongly hope that the Taliban have realised that there is an alternative way to governing as well, and that they move into a situation whereby they govern with an external face as well, that they accepted into the international community and realised that how the country was governed previously is not how it can be governed today if they want to be welcomed into that international community. I hope that's been the impact of the last 20 years.
Back to you, Kate.
So what has been the reaction of the Britons of this alarming event?
Yes, well, Kate, outside Britain's Houses of Parliament, protesters called for the UK to do more to help ordinary Afghans at risk of Taliban prosecution, including military interpreters. Campaigners and veterans who served in the conflict have criticised efforts to resettle interpreters who feared reprisal because of their work for Western forces. One of them, Uldelnaya, 34, resettled in Britain 5 years ago. He said the situation is very bad there and is very serious threat for our families, for our colleagues. Uldelnaya said Britain's pledge to resettle up to 20,000 Afghans in the coming years was a very good decision, but called for the scheme to include more. Back to the UK.
Thank you for today's update, Ashley.
Thank you for having me today, Kate. I'm Ashley Spiritu reporting from London, United Kingdom, and we live in interesting times.
A Neighbourhood Appreciation Day takes place in Manchester. Grace Rivera brings us some of the event's details. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Victoria Park in Manchester. Nearly 18 months of COVID restrictions, and now here we are, finally getting back to some level of normality. On the 19th of July, the UK government initiated the fourth step of the roadmap out of lockdown, including the end of social restrictions. Today, we are joining a Neighbourhood Appreciation Day organized by the Iglesia Cristo in collaboration with Friends of Victoria Park.
The Neighbourhood Appreciation Cleanup Day in this park, in the community in Manchester, is a very important event or activity that is being conducted and sponsored by the Iglesia Cristo, or the Church of Christ. Members of the church from all ages have traveled to participate in this activity to help out in cleaning up this park in Manchester.
It's important to give back to the community, and us being here today, we are doing our part. We're helping clean up, we're helping to make a better environment for people to socialize in. It's important for me to be here today because it's a good thing to serve our community.
We're very excited to participate in this event because it is the first activity that is held in person since the easing of most of the lockdown restrictions here in England.
We were given the task to look after the brethren who gathered here in Victoria Park to help in maintaining our neighborhood. At the same time is protecting, safeguarding the brethren in attendance today.
Groups of families and friends are given tasks to help update some areas of the park, such as washing down of the kids' playground, weeding, and litter picking, to mention a few. A generous act of contribution was also made by the church, as a picnic table and chairs are being built to be donated to the park as a memorial gesture of this collaborative project.
My name is Shelley Quinton-Hume, and I'm the chairperson for the Friends of Victoria Park in Stretford, which is in Manchester. It's wonderful. Our group relies on volunteers to help make the park as beautiful as it is. So it's great to have you guys here carrying out some work that we can't get done. So having a big group of you coming is a great help. In the UK at the moment, funding for parks is really low, and the pandemic has shown that people are using parks far more than they've ever done before. And so it's really important that volunteers help keep the parks nice so that people can still enjoy them, especially in times of pandemic.
The wake of the pandemic has left the public reluctant and apprehensive to help with communities like this. The sense of uncertainty and worry is still in most people's minds. This community gathering indicates a promising change in the way the pandemic has gripped the world. This project is a timely opportunity for groups and individuals to act as an essential part of society, working together towards a better ecological sustainability.
It's really very important for members of the Church of Christ to conduct activities like this so that we can fulfill one of the commandments of our Lord God, that we perform acts of kindness to our fellow men, especially during this time of pandemic.
Now that I've been here and I've done my part, it's a tiring feeling, I can't lie, but it's fulfilling in a sense.
A true mark of humanity in these times of global uncertainty by the members of the Iglesia Cristo. What an amazing day! I'm Grace Rivera, reporting for Eagle News, United Kingdom. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for bringing us this story, Grace. Time for a break. Please come back for ENI UK and Europe edition.
Innovation, digital disruption, globalization. Startups, micro, small, and medium enterprises, as well as large corporations, all face interesting challenges in the market today. Peek into the world of exciting opportunities and partnerships to drive growth with the latest business news and information. We are open for business. Your weekly dose of entrepreneurial inspiration to update you on the latest developments in the world of business. Get up close and personal with CEOs and thought leaders to help you discover valuable insights, sharpen your instincts for smart decision-making with the latest markets and economic trends, disruptive ideas, global innovation, social entrepreneurship, and other leading-edge business ideas. Join the conversations to create a more vibrant environment for entrepreneurship. Catch Open for Business, from vision to action.
Hey there, Arnie Aquino here at Hatley Castle, one of the filming locations for the X-Men series. Don't forget to tune in to Digital Nest only on Net25.
Welcome back to ENI UK and Europe edition. I'm Kate Ribibis. Interesting stories from around Europe this week. COVID-19 public testing will no longer be free in Germany in October. Here's Francis Manalili with details. Let's take a look.
As summer is coming to an end, governments are getting concerned about a fourth wave re-emerging. To avoid this, the German government has recently issued a new regulation regarding the coronavirus testing. These testing have been essential to keep track of the number of infected, so that these can be used as a base for further strategic planning to keep the infection rate as low as possible. Up to now, citizens are able to get tested at least once a week, which are done in various testing centers. These are free of charge as they are funded by the state. An antigen test costs approximately between 11 to 25 euros, whereas a PCR test can cost approximately between 50 to 150 euros. However, the state has decided to charge citizens for each public testing, effective on October 11, 2021. According to the website of the German government, www.bundesregierung.de, they declared that the free COVID tests have made a great impact in interrupting the third wave of the COVID pandemic in Germany. But since all citizens can now be provided with a direct vaccination offer, the federal government decided to end the offer of free citizen tests. Apart from those where vaccination is not recommended, such as children and pregnant women, as well as people who cannot be vaccinated due to medical reasons. With this decision, the government hopes to encourage more people to get vaccinated, as the pace of vaccination has slowed down in Germany. Chancellor Angela Merkel emphasized that the government is now focusing on those who have not yet been vaccinated. She added that it would be great to see the rate increasing over 70% and up to 80%. With the said changes, it can be pricey or inconvenient for unvaccinated citizens, since in the future it will be required for people to be either vaccinated, test negative, or have a recovery certificate to participate in indoor activities, as well as visit certain facilities. This new rule, also called 3G rule, will apply starting on August 23. This rule can only be suspended as long as the 7-day incidence in a district remains steady at under 35 new infections per 100,000 residents. This is my report for today. I'm Francis Manaluli from the EBC Germany Bureau. We live in interesting times.
Thank you, Francis, for these updates from Germany. We go to St. Petersburg, Russia for a tour of the Uldelnaya flea market. Sherilyn Carlos takes us there. Let's watch.
The Uldelnaya flea market is a famous and one of the largest flea markets in Russia. It has also been named as one of the top 10 most famous flea markets in the world because it has a great amount of value of memorabilia from the World War II and some genuine items from the Soviet Union era. The flea market is called Uldelnaya because it is close to the Uldelnaya metro station of St. Petersburg, Russia. The local calls the place Uldelka. People come and visit the flea market mainly for these two reasons. The first one because it reflects the local culture, and secondly, it is located at historical places. The flea market is open from early mornings until 5 p.m. during weekends. As you walk out of the metro station, you are most likely to see a crowd heading to the market. You can also see a long line of stalls selling second-hand goods. The flea market is at the end of this line, at the open area with goods laid out on the blankets on the ground. As you walk around in the flea market, you will notice people from all backgrounds, each one in awe of the different items, including some collectibles from World War II and the Soviet Union era. So if you like to collect antiques, porcelain, ceramics, book, magazine, old coin, Soviet Union era photos, and postcard, be prepared to spend a good amount of time here. Be ready to have fun here in the city of St. Petersburg, Russia. For Eagle News International, I am Sherilyn Carlos. Will it be interesting time?
Thank you, Sherilyn, for that tour. Switzerland is a great destination no matter the season. Here's a tour of the mountain village of Interlaken by Trina Joyce Asugao.
Interlaken lies in the Bernese Oberland between Lake Thun and Lake Brinks. Interlaken is also surrounded by 3 mountains, the Eiger, Munch, and Jungfrau. I can personally say that the Jungfrau region is my favorite because it showcases the beauty of nature and its numerous waterfalls, beautiful landscape, and its mountains. Interlaken is considered as the heart of Switzerland. That's why it's a favorite vacation and tourist destination. In the center of Interlaken, you can enjoy the perks of a city while being in the mountains. You can go shop, enjoy a picnic in the park, or just walk around and enjoy the view. You can also be adventurous by trying out paragliding, or you can ask for tandem paragliding so you have an expert guide with you. Come and explore this amazing place. I am Trina Jesasuga, EBC Switzerland. We live in interesting times.
Thank you for taking us to Interlaken, Trina. In today's sports, Ryan Florentino gives us the latest update. Hello, Ryan.
Hi, Kate. Nelly Korda lived up to her tag of world number one by taking a share of the first round lead in women's British Open golf, alongside South Korea's Kim Se-young and Swede Madeleine Sagström at Carnoustie, Scotland on Thursday. The 23-year-old Korda, already the winner of her first major at the LPGA Championships in June and the Olympic gold medal from Tokyo earlier this month, continued her victories with an 8-birdie round of 67. But on a relatively calm day over the notoriously brutal Scottish links course, Kim and Sagström matched that 5-under score. Korda had ducked out of her pre-tournament press conference, but she insisted there was nothing sinister about the decision, as she instead spent more time on the driving range. "I still feel like a little girl playing golf," explained Korda, the daughter of 1998's Australian Open tennis champion Petra Korda. "It was a bit drizzly, but there wasn't too much, so I could be aggressive," she added. South Korea's Kim had a top 10 finish in the Olympics and the world number 4, with a second major to her victory in last year's LPGA Championship. The weather from Japan to here is so different, but I'm very happy. I struggled when I first played in Scotland at the 2015 Open at Thornbury, but now I loved it, said Kim. The leaders were one clear of a group that included 2 Britons in 2018 champ Georgia Hall and British amateur champion Louise Duncan, as well as the US's Open winner Yuka Saso of the Philippines. Louise Duncan got one of the loudest cheers of the day when the Scot holed a monster 50-foot putt for an Eagle 3. "I was so nervous and I hardly slept," admitted Duncan. And that is all for sports this week. Please stay tuned next week for more sports news. Back to you, Kate.
Thank you for today's report, Ryan.
Thanks, Kate. Reporting for ENI UK and Europe, I'm Ryan Florentino, and we live in interesting times.
In today's view from our window, we go to Strasbourg, France. The capital city of the grandest region, Strasbourg is located northeast of France and is by the German border. The German and French influences are seen perfectly blended in the city through their culture and architecture. Strasbourg is one of the oldest cities with exceptional sites and history, but doesn't fall back in the run to transition in modernity. It is the perfect city for a quick getaway. This view is courtesy of Alia Garcia from our EBC France Bureau. Thank you for this view, Alia. And that's it for today's program. Stay safe and keep positive as we bring you more stories next week from the United Kingdom and Europe. I'm Kate Ribibis, and we live in interesting times.